moved into the apartment, that's the first thing I checked was the fire escape. And so we told the management about the fire escape because it was hazardous and somebody could get hurt, anything can happen. So we keep calling the management about the fire escape so nobody can hurt me.
So when she was awakened this morning by smoke and noise, she knew she never had a chance out there.
I knew not to even come this way. I already knew not to even come this way. So my option was either out the window or the front door.
Out the window.
And it was just about that time that JR did head to what turned out to be a rickety, corroded, and dangerous fire escape. And it nearly cost him his life.
Gonna get free rent for a while though.
Just gave away.
He owns the building. His lawyers are working on that right now.
Gave away.
This building is in litigation as we speak.
We think.
Wow. But I want
I'm sure I wouldn't be stuck with that building.
Pretty scary.
It must have been so scary, firemen had to help him out. But take a look at what he would have gone through had he made it down to the first floor. He then would have had to walk down this long, rickety Holt ladder just to make it to safety. We called the company that runs this building. They did not get back to us. The Jersey City Police Fire Department says they inspect these and started inspecting them in 2013, but never got to this building.
And they're a model city. We did the same class as these guys here, so it's not, every building's not, but they have actually a program. They're one of the model cities out there that is actually doing something about it. All right, guys, write this page down. Fire Escape Services Network. And I'm going to show you how you get to the Portland website. So you get to, again, this is all free public information, right, that we created this website for that very reason. We ask you where you're from, they say, oh, because we're nationwide, you guys may or may not know this, and then we come here and say, where are you, Portland? So Portland, Oregon, you click on that, and what you have is, I'm working off my Wi-Fi here, we have a Fire Escapes Portland, and it has all the same information on here, including your procedures and guidelines are on here. We go through all the codes right there. The steps that include coming back to the city official, please contact your local official to make sure everything you're seeing here is correct. Videos and examples. There's a fire escape law right there. You click on that, that's going to show you the death, the death videos. On the right, it's actually going to show you the load test videos in case you want to say, like, what the hell is this load test? So click on the right, it'll show sandbags being dragged around. At the very top, it'll also show you, when you click on here for seminars, you tell your clients, listen, if you don't believe us, look at all the seminars happening nationwide, and that is through the National Fire Escape Association, and this is some of the seminars on here, as you can see, and I believe we may have you guys on here as one of the videos. I believe one of these is the Portland. So when they click on it, say, well, this is crazy, what are you making this stuff up? We said, we've been doing this for 10 years, but here's an actual Portland seminar, maybe the same room, it's way in the cafeteria.
Cisco has been involved in fire escape.
This is the cafeteria.
That's 20 to 30 years is like that, right?
All right, so there's information out there to get everybody educated. Back to the question you had, how do you sell somebody a $50,000 problem? You say, listen, you have a roof on your house and you've been spending $5,000 or $25,000. $5,000 is a bucket of tar and a guy. And then finally these people get in and say, you know what, I will rubber roof the thing instead of the $5,000 hits every so many years, correct? Mm-hmm. Sprinkler systems. 30 years ago, you know how many buildings didn't have full sprinkler systems working? And they were fully occupied, and then it was a huge fight with getting the sprinkler. With enough lobbying and enough change, it finally changes. Alarms were not working. Extinguishers were all dead in every floor. Hoses were old hoses. And you know what happened? At the very beginning, when there was a change of nothing, doing nothing, finally, after enough fines and fees, everybody got on it, and you know what they made it part of the cost of doing business. So yes, an average 5-story fire escape can go anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000 K, with or without the engineer oversight. Typical pass-fails are $500 to $1,500 per pass-fail, $3,000 to $5,000 for EOs for residentials, and $5,000 to $8,000 for commercial. standard, 5 no more than 10 stories. Anybody want to modify these prices a little bit? Nationwide. But everybody wants sorry for the vulgarity here, sometimes you get the stamp whores, right? Am I spelling whores correctly? Stamp whores for $500. They'll stamp anything nationwide, not here, but there's some stamp whores out there. And there's also witch doctors that the main tool they bring to a repair is paint.
And a pack of cigarettes.
And a what?
And a pack of cigarettes.
And cigs, because you gotta take your break.
Yeah.
Guys, I'll give you an example. Next week, we gotta go to, anybody here of Galesburg, Illinois? Yeah, I have a 5-story on a 5-story on a, what do you call it? 5-story on a city building. They've been trying to get it fixed for 4 years, 5 years now. Couldn't get anybody to bid it. 5-story, standard 5-story. Same 5-story here. Am I off, guys? Plus minus? What's the difference? Competition. Got it? So what's going to stabilize? We're going to go into the confidence test because we have to start talking about this confidence test because the confidence test is going to create stability in the marketplace. What it's also going to do is stabilize the costs so that there's not this and not this. It's going to, people who do this on a regular basis are going to start stabilizing their prices. Engineers will have competition. Vendors are going to have competition. Painters are going to have competition. And guess what happens when you have competition? Prices come down. When there is no competition, ooh, rusty go. Why? Because you've got the cure. If you got the cure, supply and demand. So just there is what people were getting for 25 to 50 years was a stamp that cost them $500 to $1,000. You take it, you be done. Got it? Sadly, it's out there, guys. All right, so let's get the. So very quickly, and we need to get right on this confidence test. Ready? Guys, holes in the walls. This is that thing you talked about, water getting between the veneer and the structural. If you don't open these things up, sometimes this is exactly where failures are found. You've got this kind of thing, a load test will identify this. Or a pre-load test evaluation will identify that there needs further investigation before a load test. Because you have enough evidence, especially all that rust coming out of the wall, that you would never load test a fire escape if you go further into investigation. It's called pre-load test evaluation. Got it? So when we get here, now we got the interior of a building, guys, right? So some of these come all the way through, and as you can see, pre-load test evaluation. You need to have the confidence of your engineer and your testing company that this thing is not going to hurt somebody, because you don't test things that are bad. Got it? Pre-drilling. This is in California. So we were verifying that these steel implements going in were in good order. What a pain, what a pain. Can't I just take that same 3/4 drill, right? Instead of verifying, this looks visually great to me, right? Can I go 6 inches over there, create an angle clip that makes this a bolted connection, and use that same 3/4 and go through it and put an epoxy or a through bolt? I've duplicated the connection. I don't care about the first one anymore. The first one now is an add-on. I show you this building, but I say, hey, I'm showing other evidence of strength. All the original ones are all packed and sealed and tight. What's their condition? I don't know. But I think they're good, but I put in another epoxy mold with a through bolt on the back plate. Here's my engineer's stamp of what we did as an example. Other evidence of strength? Okay, let's keep on going. This is what it looks like on the inside. This is fire escape proctology. I got a hole, and I got to send a little probe down there, and guess what I get to see? This. Guess what I can see? Not much. So stop drilling these things. Just put a bolt next to it on every individual support, or unify the connections. Get underneath. Platforms are 4 feet across. Take a take a 5-foot piece of angle, stick it underneath, unify the two together, throw in 3, 4 epoxy bolts or 3, 4 through bolts. The original one you gotta fix, you gotta pack, you gotta seal, and then when you do the through bolts, you document it, you write it up, and you send it to the fire department, you send it to the building department, and you're going after other evidence of strength. That's what it looks like down the fire escape proctology. Got it, guys? All right, here's what's happening on fire escapes. But this is on a school. I took a fire escape and I saved this piece. This is on an elementary school. Kids use this every day to go to recess. So what I did is I saved this fire escape and I shrunk it and I used it as a showpiece. I actually bring it to one of these classes. I bring the original fire escape I took out of a school, and I only had Christmas break to take it down and put up a brand new one. But what I did to it is I did everything wrong to it. There was already wrong things done to it. I did other wrong things to it. To use it as what you can and what you cannot do. See all this welding? This is what everybody does. A quick repair in the past would have been put a piece of, don't fix the bottom of it, put an angle on top, weld it and tack it, and these holes, just put a piece of plate over that, weld the nose only. So I started getting crazy on this thing to show you, what to do, what not to do. So, instead of changing the bolts, guys, just weld the nose. Witch doctor stuff. You bring feathers, you bring blood, and you dance around, have a lot of crazy music playing, right? And this is what's going to fix a fire escape. And you know what? $3,000. Remember the terrible threes on a fire escape? You get a bid, he only gets a $3,000, $13,000, and $33,000. Guess who wins?
$3,000.
Got it? If there's no report, if there's no preload test evaluation form, if there is, he can't do it. We'll show you. We'll get on that right now. See? You guys got it? This is what it looks like. It used to be 4 feet across. I shrunk it. I bring this piece on shows all the time to show what kids were using to go to recess. By the way, Olden 78 has lead. Any lead paint left on it? No, because the kids took it during recess. That was their snack. They all ate little chips of paint.
Oh.
Got it? So, and of course they took it on their hands and they went like that, and the kid put it in their eyes and put it in their mouth. By the way, this rusty stuff, you know what you get? Is it staph infections? Tetanus. One of my guys in Chicago, in Philadelphia, had a little cut. It got in, and Tom was all of 300 something pounds. Right? He had tetanus. He spent 3 months in the hospital. I said goodbye to him because he was going to die. They removed all kinds of infections and organs. He got tetanus through a rusty infection. So if you're doing fire escapes, go get a tetanus shot. My guy almost died. I said, hey dude, I got another fire escape in Philly. He goes, I ain't going nowhere near Philly. But it's not Philly, you have Boston with the same tetanus. Every rusty fire escape is like stepping on a rusty nail. When you're working it, you scrape yourself, guess what? Tetanus. I got a guy that, I said goodbye to the guy. All of a sudden he comes out, he's 200 pounds lighter now, you know what I'm saying, because he lost a ton of weight, but for all the wrong reasons. And he's still recovering till today. He's not back full force yet. Still recovering, cannot get out of the house, he's on the medication, under hospice and under treatment. He's 57, 58 years old. So guys, that's the old one this is my Christmas break. And then I put a brand new one off to the side. But here's the funny thing about this. It took me longer to take this thing apart and save it in the as-is, because nobody can there just cut, drop. I needed to save pieces and then use it as a showpiece. I actually spend more time taking it down and saving it in its garbage point than I should have. But it's a great piece because a lot of people can see it, touch it, collect tetanus. You know what I'm saying? While you're here. So, OSHA, we're all cool on the lead-based paint thing? You need to have a renovator's license. So if you don't have one, it's an 8-hour course, $175 to $275. You start in the morning, at the end of the day, you already got your lead paint. You only need one guy on site to be dealing with the lead. Everybody else has to be told. You have to keep records. And you got to wear the white suit. And by the way, OSHA totally disagrees. They think that guy's going to be doing blood. So remember the difference between OSHA and EPA. Let them fight it out, but just send your $300 in because you have to register with the EPA. And if you get caught doing something wrong, and they only have 4 inspectors in the whole country, it's a $37,500 fine per violation. Welding. Want to weld? Here's why you don't weld. This just happened last year.
They have been working on building fire escape when they sparked the deadly fire.
Fox Undercover revealed Wednesday that fire escape hadn't been inspected in 10 years, even though inspections are required every 5 years. Investigative reporter Mike Bodette digging up some new exclusive information tonight. Mike?
We looked at the entire Beacon Street block where the fatal fire happened and discovered, just like 296 Beacon Street, most of the fire escapes there are overdue for inspections. It turns out the city doesn't have any mechanism in place to track building owners violating the rules and hold them accountable. Mayor Walsh is not happy.
Are you concerned that inspection wasn't done since 2004?
Of course I am, and it's something that, constantly every day seems like something new is coming up around special services, and we are looking at revamping a lot of the procedures in there.
Boston
We're looking at
Mayor Marty
revamp.
Walsh talking about 296 Beacon Street, the place where welders may have been working on the fire escape.
This is the neighbor's house.
At 298 Beacon Street.
They're welding on this side.
Fire that killed Boston Fire Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael.
Burnt down 5 stories and 60 mile an hour winds that day.
Had not been inspected since 2000.
So they were working on the left side.
And the state building code requires.
And they caught the shed on fire on the other side, and it blew into the building and killed 2 firemen in the basement.
Inspected in 2009, and then again this year, which raises a troubling question according to fire code expert Amy.
So let's move on. You understand? Welding, you have to have a fire permit. Welding, if it needs to be examined, then it needs either a radiograph or a load test. But as soon as you put a bolt on a welded connection, what happens? Other evidence of strength? So I'm not x-raying that thing and I'm not load testing it, I'm gonna bring other evidence of strength. So any welded connection that's in good order, not bad, and you blow a bolt through it, what are we testing? The weld now or the bolt? And if, 3 years from now, after we've given you other evidence of strength, the fire escape falls apart and hits the ground. And we get there, we do our fire escape CSI, we do our investigation, and we find that that bolt sheared. Who's everybody sue? Bolt manufacturer. Why? It was a product failure. Do they have insurance for that?
I hope so.
So the law says, load tested, no liability for anybody. Other evidence of strength, where's the liability going to go to? Who's ever installing it to make sure, and if they did it right, it goes to product. So if a through bolt that you put into the building shears and fails, what's the failure there?
The product.
Product. Guys, this is exit routes 1910.37. Please note that down on your documents. That's an OSHA requirement that says during construction, repairs, or alterations, the fire escape is fixed last or first? Because you spark fires during renovation, right? So fire escape first or last?
Needs to be
First, right? And it says here that during repairs and alterations, employees must not occupy the workplace unless the exit routes required by this subpart are available and the existing fire protections are maintained, or until alternate fire protection is furnished that provides an equivalent level of safety. So, I'm working on a building, I can't fix this fire escape, I can't do it for 2 months. Can I put up some scaffolding? All right, not construction scaffolding, I'm going to put in full 3-foot, 7-11 fire escapes. I mean,
First you have to get the sidewalk permit, that's most crucial.
so does it meet, will it meet your requirement? Does it shut down that project once the scaffolding goes up?
It should.
Keep going, got it? So once you've identified a bad fire escape, the construction can go forward because as soon as the scaffolding's up, everybody's moving. You stop the money, the heads are gonna roll. You don't stop the money, here's what it looks like, guys. Anybody know this building? Right down the street from you guys.
Right down the street.
Got it? And what's he got? He's got a full set of stairs, not construction stairs. These are full 3-foot, 7-11 stairs to the ground. And he also has an elevator for who? For the workers, because they have an interior stair. And what is this stair? Is that a day-to-day stair or is that an egress stair for the firemen to get in and the people to get out in case? So this is what OSHA wants you to do. They don't want you to stop the job, provide alternative means. So I'm showing up at your site because we're going to mothball the fire escape for 3 months. I got to block all the interior access to the fire escape. Satisfied? All the interior access to the old fire escape on this building is blocked off. Nobody can get to it. Is that you satisfied?
With that?
With this up, yeah. By the way, on the outside fire escape that's rotten, I got all these markings on it with a big circle with you guys with a big thing saying don't ever get on. Are you satisfied?
That could make us happier.
Okay, so now we've blocked off access to the fire escape. Firemen cannot get on this fire escape, and they have an alternative means of egress, and you get this during your pre-plans. What are you doing when you're doing pre-plans?
Entering them into the system so that we have them readily available in about 3 or 4 months.
And this is all in a,
Oh, that's wasted.
that's the inside voice. Guys,
They're all
load test,
synced into the guys' smartphones on site, right?
load testing, sandbags, 50-pound sandbags. By the way, why did I do this? This is a Harvard building. What, do you know what I did here? I fully refurbished the fire escape, and I load tested it for what reason?
Prove it work.
Well, prove that it works, but also to say, I need a load test in Boston, because I have never done a load test in Boston. I said, I need an excuse for one. So we created one. So we load tested, but I want to show you the craziness.
So now we're loading onto a stair, we're
Oh my
doing a
God.
concentrated load of every
6
other
bags. You know what 300 pounds looks like with 50-pound bags? And they fall, and they collapse, and they drop.
Note that the staircase is starting.
All right, so we did in California, we did cable. By the way, guys, remember this, you can do sandbags, water bags, or cable. Do you want to put the 5,000 pounds up here, or do you want to put it on the ground and run a cable up and then lift the 5,000 pounds 1 inch off the ground? Ah, think about that. So it's not, you don't bring the pound up, you bring the force up there, and you can use cables. There's many ways to load test. You know who designs it? Engineers design it. You know what the norm is? 1,000 pounds? You put 400 pounds, you put 40% of the load. You measure before, during, and after. Any deflection, what do you do? Stop. I want to demystify, the process. Once nothing deflects and you've done 40%, now you put the other 60%. What do? Measure before, during, and after for a certain time period, and there's no deflection, guess what you got? A pass. So if you want, you can go on firescapesloadtest.com and see some of this happy stuff, and you can use anything at the ground. You can lift trucks, you can lift, just make sure you wear your helmets. Fire escapes are tied off in case there's a failure, it relies on another fire escape. This is us using a load cell. Guys, can't give away too much secret about this again. It's a secret, there it is. By the way, what do you want to walk up to? You want to walk up to a fire escape, and you want to have the proper guidelines, and you also want to have the reports, confidence tests. Let's start right here. Let's get to the load. Let's take the confidence test. Let's take the one that is, shall we do the Portland one? It's the same test, exact test. So, anybody got the Portland one? The other one you can use yourself. You can go online to any of our websites and you can get a blank one. You can put your own name at the very top. Or you can use your own, you can use this as a guide and you can answer the questions on your own letterhead. Got it? So let's do the Portland. This is a draft, this has not been accepted. Portland one. All right, so everybody grab one and start filling it in. I'm going to go very quickly through it so you understand why we ask every question. Remember, this is a mousetrap. Because we've had the perfect storm of stupidity. From the top to the bottom, there's been people who have not been watched. You can do anything you damn please. But now I've made people interconnect to each other. So right now, in order for you to get away with something, somebody else has to let you. And that makes them an accomplice. Got it? So let's start at the very top. Is that the correct information for you, Stu? Should you approve this?
Yes.
All right, by the way, it says this document expires 30 days from date of delivery to owner agent via email or by mail unless a design professional or others retained for engineer oversight in writing. Meaning this is a pass-fail. This cannot go pull a permit. This tells you what the problems are, not where they exist, what and how many exist. Got it? This is the cheapie, $500 to $150. It automatically expires. When Stu gets one of these, 30 days later, it's gone. The owner cannot use it as a repair document. And believe me, that's selling your first visit as a repair document all day long. And we're barely getting any information because it's not a true repair document, because those things cost $3 to $5 grand, $5 to $8 grand. That's the going rate. But that's a lot more detail, right? So number two, I need to know who the owner is and I need to know who the agent is, and I only need one of them. If you want to put both of them, you can, but a lot of times the agent is the only one that fills it out, such as the management company. In the middle, you guys see the middle box there? It says, give you a little diagram of where the building is, where the fire escape is. So please, no artistic way, just, it's a box. This is the front, and I'm sorry, this is the front as it says, just draw it by hand, and the fire escape is on this corner, just put an X on it. And it says, if you know the north, if you know the arrow, just put an arrow over it and just say, will that help you, Sue?
Yep.
Know where the fire escape is? Okay, continue. Anybody, just start spewing out if you disagree with some of this stuff. The next question, it says, I want the design professional or others acceptable to the city official. I want all their name and information and licenses. Stu, you need to know that? It's important for you? So you can accept the other? I need to know the inspection date. I need to know the violation number. I need to get all that information because that's how you, sometimes you don't know an address, you know a violation number. The next document, if this is the initial document, there is no repair vendor. If this is a certification, guess what I need to put on there for Stu and for anybody else? I need to put the repair vendor's name, number, license number, and repair permit. So this is the first catch. There is no repair permit. What happens? Will Stu accept this incomplete document?
Yes.
Stu will accept it? An incomplete
There's not a
document?
repair number, I mean, that's our permit number.
Right, so Stu will not,
He's going off of the entities that are certified with the affidavit.
pretend this is a room of just what it could be.
Oh.
Not what it is.
Portlandia is utopia.
Portlandia.
Okay.
So please, so you understand now there's two people that have to know each other. This is a cross-check system. No repair, it's an incomplete report. He needs further information, got it? Now let's go down to this document is a pass-fail report or a fail report with attached documentation. Which one is this? That he needs to know. Because if it's a pass-fail, it expires.
In 30 days,
A pass-fail report goes on for how long?
approximately 6 months.
The norm is 30 days, but you know what they ask for in the rest of the country? They ask for a 60 or 90-day extension, meaning up to 90 days. And he can continue giving him additional extensions as long as you see progress in report. So the norm is your violation has 30 days to cure, unless in writing you get from him another violation date. Got it? We're in Utopia, Portlandia, right? So imagine this is really working. The next question, it has the golden parachute that everybody loves. Ready? To the best of my information, knowledge, and belief, the following opinions are true, right? This is some engineers and architects and a lot of professionals love that statement because now I want to know, and he wants to know, did you do a visual walkthrough? Did you physically get on this fire escape and that's what you, and it says right there, no load test was performed, no destructive testing was done. This is a pass-fail. We're just looking at it. I got to see what the problem is, not where it is and how many exist. Got it? The second one is I didn't get on it because two reasons. One, I couldn't get access, and that sometimes happens, and you'll never get access, and you'll have to use binoculars, and sometimes it's too dangerous to get on it. I can only examine from above, and I got to give you photographic, zoomed photographs. Got it? Good for you? I got to tell you whether the fire escape passed or failed, and if there's any life safety issues. If there is a life safety issue, he needs to know right away. This comes to him right away the first day, because life safety issues you want to resolve how quickly?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Normally it's 24 to 48 hours, but they have a document that they receive that they have to notify him, and they choose whether they come down or not. If I'm in LA and my license, I find the life safety issue, I have to call the local firehouse. I'm going to lose my license. I have to call the local fire station, call the captain in charge, and say, I'm sitting at a life safety issue. Can you please come down? I can't leave. If I leave, I lose my license. If the trucks go, woo, and the guy comes down there, and I says, see you later. Now, that fire captain deals with that fire issue and that owner and everybody. That's in LA. Required by license, otherwise you lose your license. You cannot leave a life safety concern. Like it? Good. All right, let's keep going on. So the next one is I only have 4 options for you to get a pass on this fire escape. You're gonna, the system is certified by load test. Portlandia load test is
200.
200, okay. The fire escape is certified by other evidence of strength. Signed by a structural engineer. You okay with it? Okay. And the third one is, the fire escape system is certified by opinion affidavit. Is that anywhere in the codes? Anywhere in any code that you can give me an opinion. It's not, but it's been the norm for 25, 50 years, still exists, and people will force it down your throat, including the mayor. Right? But it says, accepted by the AHJ as ready for use with a opinion disclaimer of liability. You know what that means? When I give him a disclaimer, and I give Chicago a disclaimer, and I give New York City a disclaimer, you know what I say on that? It's a nice long document that my lawyers wrote up for me after I got sued in Chicago for it, and guess what got me out of trouble? Not that I created any trouble, but the golden parachute, the opinion affidavit, I pulled it, and it worked, but it cost $1 million. Got it? So let me tell you what the opinion affidavit says. It says that here's an opinion, and engineers and architects love it, because it says, I will sign that today, that fire escape is not on the ground. It looks good today. But tomorrow it falls on the ground. The owner of this building will hold us harmless, that's what mine says. Pay all my legal fees, If there's any award of any kind, they'll pay those two. And by the way, I want the city official to check with their legal department to say if there's any liability, because you accepted such a document as an opinion, which is nowhere in the codes, that your legal department says, oh, we might as well use our own disclaimer, putting it also back on the owner. But let your legal department decide that. It's not my decision. But that's what we do. And then the final one is a simple one. It says the fire escape failed. It's not structurally sound and hasn't been painted. So that's all I'm saying. And there's further investigation. Notice I stuck your little Portland code in there. So normally in this space down here, what I put is I can put in IBC, IFC, NFPA. And by the way, the insurance companies right now, we're dealing with insurance companies right now who are not taking opinions anymore. They want load tests or other evidence of strength throughout the country. So after a while, the codes don't even matter. The insurance companies say, if this thing wasn't load tested or other evidence of strength, not just load test, they say we won't take that building. So that's happening as we speak right now. And then at the bottom it says I got to declare on the penalty, I got to sign it as another, or I got to sign it as an engineer. And where's my stamp go? Right there. And by the way, Stu, it says here, did you take this over the phone, by email, or did you go and inspect the fire escape yourself? So here's how you remove the violations until the city official signs on it. Even though they did a permit process, until he signs on it and accepts it, it's not closed. So we loop this back around on a pass, back to the guy that wrote the original violation. So you can't skirt the process. Where the violation starts is the final one that signs off, regardless of permit process and sign-offs and all that other stuff. It goes back to process. We clear on that? We're doing good, guys. Page 2. Top of the document. You need to put the address again on there. And you need to put the site inspection date again on there. And again, it repeats itself that this is not a construction control document. Can't be used for permit. And it expires in 30 days. Again, it will repeat. Did it pass? Did it fail? Did it have any life safety issues? We have a simple checkbox system. That is not the inspection. All it is, that's just a little graphic checkbox. Overall, everything stays within poor and fair. Poor and fair, all right? But down below, you see, if some of these things have life safety issues, this is a chance for you to do it. It also has some pre-existing lawfully non-conforming issues. All right, so just so you guys know, a fire escape built in 1965, you have to satisfy 1965 codes. There's no forced upgrade ever. Got it? Now, if it was wrong in 1965, you got an upgrade. Now they can go to full upgrade. But a fire escape must be maintained as of the date of installation. 1916, you will meet 1916 code. By the way, the 100-pound rule has been around forever. So there's no like lesser issues. But a lot of the fire escapes cannot be forced into an upgrade, and that sometimes happens. It's in the code. It's called lawfully non-conforming, and that has gone to court. We have a fire escape that we have to show 1965 code on it to say this is lawful in 1965, and you can't force an upgrade here. Now, if there's a change of use, now you've kicked the can open. Now that fire escape has cracked open. We're talking about an existing building the way it is, still the way it is, as is, the way lawfully non-conforming. You need to check that box. Missing and not applicable. Okay, guys. Question number 1, write little notes now. When I wrote this question, what's it mean? All fabrication, installation, and maintenance on the fire escape is to code and met the industry standard on the date of installation. That's the code, the lawfully non-conforming. I didn't say whether it was a good or bad fire escape that day. Does this fire escape you look like the one across the street, or was it built by a witch doctor? That's the only thing you're asking here. Is it built to industry standard as you can see with the visual eye? If the answer is yes, just write that. Yes, it looks like in this building, and if you can't put the date of the building or when you think the fire escape went in. Number 2, there is no pre-existing non-conforming issues requiring HJ approval. Meaning, I get there and I have 24-inch high rails, I have wood, I have electrical wire or electrical pipe as a rail. That's not pre-existing. I have to go back and say, hey, there's some things here that didn't meet the code then, and I need him to give me a decision on what's going on with that. Okay? Well, fire and or building code. Right? All welds pass by visual observation only, unless noted, rebolted, x-rayed, or load tested. So I can pass at this time any weld that I see, because it's just a visual. I didn't x-ray or load test it. Got it? So yes, if a weld looks good, if it looks like it's already bulging and got brush jacking happening in it, I must note here and say no. And there's a little space there for a 1, 2, or 3 word comment. I don't want a big write up there. This is a pass-fail. The big write-ups come in, what's called a repair report for permit, which must be submitted to planning and permit for review. Number 4, overall the fire escape system passes. This is overall. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. Just say, no, it didn't pass. Not structurally sound and has not been painted. That's all you need to write here. Footings. So fire escapes go only a few ways. You have a fire escape with legs to the ground, you have a fire escape that is embedded into the cement, and you have a fire escape that's primarily wood ones are through bolted back into the building. That's it. So I cover all the components of a fire escape here. So the footings to the ground. You're looking at the foundation of the ground, you're looking at just anything that's related to the footings of this fire escape, that pass or fail. Number 6, this is a wall question, guys. This is not the fire escape itself where it ties in. We'll get to that question. The entire wall of this fire escape system, I'm giving you just a visual opinion that I don't see anything bulging, I don't see any major structural cracks. That's what that question is. 7, supports into masonry wall. That means that you're looking at this and this is one of those cemented and embedded ones. Through bolts. This is primarily in wood, but some masonry buildings have the through bolt and a plate on the inside. Platforms. Every platform, whether it's got cement, slats, wood, every platform is covered here, and you want to give an opinion. Did the platform pass? Stair stringers. This is just the 2 sides of a stair. There's top clips and there's bottom clips. Are they both there? You can't have just the top ones and nothing at the bottom. You have to secure, the entire staircase must be secured. Treads and plates and slats. All the treads normally have 8 bolts. 2 side ones, 4 total holding the sides, 4 holding the top on average. They all must have no rust, no internal jacking of any kind. Railings. Every railing on the platform going down the stairs, on the cantilever, every railing passed on this fire escape. You got to say that here. Again, this is a pass-fail. This is not a repair report where you need to identify the 3rd railing on the top left corner is bad. All the railings passed. The answer is no. Some failed. That's it. Just make a little note here saying some of the rails did not pass. I can't load test it this time. Ladders to the roof. By the way, you know, Portlandia over here is the only crazy place where they climb 100. They make these guys climb with the outside of nowhere else in the country will they make you climb a 10-story building on the outside so that the owners can just walk the inside of the fire escape. Nowhere. Should they have, you know, the loops around that? The answer is yes. Should there be a simple cable system, and that can be easily retrofitted, where there's a cable on the outside of that rail, so as soon as you get there, you kind of harness up to the cable and you run up the cable that has that, in case you fall, it locks into the cable. I don't know, a lot of the harnesses have that automatic locking thing. Either loop the thing or put a standard cable on there, so as soon as you hit the ladder, because you guys come with your 20-footers, you hit it, you climb up, and that poor soul with 300 pounds, he's got to go 100 feet to put a hole in the roof. I wouldn't. I don't. And I'm an inspector, and that's just insane, you know what I'm saying? And I've done that. I've had to climb, we did a tower one time, a radio tower, and I had to climb a ladder on the outside. I was scared to death. And guess who had to run the first safety line? So in order to run the safety line, I had to go by myself up there first, then I ran a safety line. Crazy. So I think that needs to be addressed so that you're the only one in the whole country that makes the guys do. Otherwise, firemen get on the fire escape and go up the stairs. That's it.
It was good for us when we were kids, so we figured.
I'll tell you, it's crazy. Insane. All right, so I'll carry the roof. Roof must be verified, including the attachment into the roof. Balance ladders. Those are the ladders that are not guillotine, you know what I'm saying? It has a cable, it has a weight, you let it go, it drops 2 to 3 feet per second and hits the ground. Oh, by the way, oh, this is another problem you guys have here, which you guys did. Oh, I think it's one of the other ones. I'll show you. But basically, you guys have taken all the cantilevers off some of your buildings, and now people land 12 to 15 feet off the ground, and there's no box of parachutes.
12 to 20.
12 to 20 feet. And that's a lot. That's an incomplete fire escape. I can't sign off on that fire escape. It's incomplete to grade. It must be to grade. So at least put a thing that says you can put a ladder, the fold-out ladders again, back on, or it must be a cantilever to the ground. But right now, you get there, and you just stand there, and you jump 50 to 20 feet to the ground. And they used this evidence that there was fire escape systems there, but when they were breaking into these buildings, somebody had a great idea of saying, okay, remove. This is just a knee-jerk reaction that happened 20 years ago for people to stop breaking into your buildings downtown that are now worth $1 or $2 And they said, well, you know what, to stop these kids from going in and smoking dope, let's just get these cantilevers down and these ladders down. And you guys had accordion ladders at one time, yeah, you guys had everything. Guess what? That's a liability waiting to happen, because as soon as somebody falls, breaks their leg, anything happens, that's a quick, your legal department's gonna say, why, we've talked about this already? We haven't fixed this? Because that was an unlawful fix that had nothing to do with code. So it was a code, it was an ordinance that basically broke the code the day it was written.
It's Portlandia.
Portlandia, well, it's a Portlandia code. All right, so guys, let me continue, because I don't want to stay on schedule here. So, cantilevers, well, cantilevers must be balanced. You guys know what a cantilever is? You walk out, I'll show you things where I can walk out 10 to 15 feet and the fire escape will not come down. Whether it's balanced on the back or balanced on the nose. You know what happens when I get too close to that cable? You know what happened down in Utah, right? So right now I'm telling you that all cantilevers in the rest of non-Portlandia, you walk out, you don't have to walk out, there's a release arm on it. And as soon as you release the seesaw, that's perfectly balanced, 2/3 in the front, 1/3 on the back with a weight box on it. She only weighs 25 pounds on the nose, and as soon as you walk through this bar that blocks you at your passage, and it's on my drawings, we'll show it to you in a second, as soon as you go through that, it automatically pivots, releases, it drops 2 to 3 feet per second, hits the ground and stays down, people self-evacuate. When you show up, it's waiting for you, you don't have to bring any ladders. That's the correct way. And at the same time, because it is a locking mechanism, guess who can't break into your building by throwing up a broom, or throwing up a rope, or throwing up and pulling it down and breaking into the building? It's also a safety device, because you can't twist it because it's upstairs, it's locked in. That's a cantilever. So we talked about cantilevers at this time. Catwalks. Catwalks are part of the code. You must be complete to grade. So if you're walking over a roof and it's wood, you have to have a raised, elevated catwalk system. It's a bridge, it's a metal bridge for the tenant and the fireman to use if they have to cross a fire. At the same time, if the roof is all cement and it's fire rated, then I just need ladders, railings on either side to keep these people from falling off the roof. That's all you have to do. You have to guide them until they hit the ground in a public way, and then guess what? Now go kill yourself. But, what? Was that my inner voice?
Go play.
I'm sorry, traffic. Go play traffic. Number 17, guys. This is a critical one. All components, doors, windows, function. Meaning, right now, as you're walking through this, you're verifying that the doors look like they're all operational. I would say you have to open up every window, but you look at it, and there's nothing cracked, nothing's twisted, nothing's rotted. You're saying all the doors look like they're feeding this fire escape. Electrical power has to be 10 feet away, or it has to be blocked. Because when the guys are blowing water on this electrical 200 amp, 400 amp line coming in next to the fire escape, guess what happens? Right? And if the people are hanging AC units and all this electrical stuff on your fire escape and they're blowing water on it, guess what happens? That's one of the questions. Can they even do that? They did it without your permission anyway. You're going to get it off. Satellite dishes, can they be on fire escapes? Hanging laundry? Bicycles and... Well, that's the next question. Overall, the fire escape is not illuminated due to pre-existing code on date of installation. What's that mean? Today's code, you put an egress out. What do you need? Old code, what did you not need? You walk that fire escape on sunlight or moonlight. That's all you get. But does it pass that day? Because it's not illuminated. Did it pass? That old fire escape? Yes, because what you have there is a pre-existing non-conforming issue. Can he force a light on you? Nope. Can he strongly request that in that darkened alley that, put on a light there, please? I highly recommend everybody put a sensor light on all your fire escapes because it's the best deterrent ever. And you make that sensor light near the ladder, near the cantilever, and facing as close to the building so that walking people don't do it. Because as soon as they try to get up on that fire escape and do everything, the light comes on. The only thing better than that, which I saw in New Jersey, the guy had a sensor light connected to his hose. There's a sensor light that if you get any motion, it actually stopped the hose. He did that to get rid of cats that came in and kept pooing on his yard. I thought it was the greatest thing. So I'm walking back there, I triggered the sensor, I got a shower of water. I said, what the hell? And so imagine a sprinkler system somewhere, not a sprinkler, a hose system tied in somewhere so that when the sensor light goes on, You don't get a light, you get a nice spray.
You just hook that up to the standpipe, right?
Well, yeah, the standpipes are all great standpipes right now, yeah. Because they're all testing the standpipes on fire escapes that are perfectly good in Portlandia. Overall, the fire escape, overall, number 20, overall, the fire escape system has no interior or exterior obstruction. Bicycles, cans, fruits, vegetables, plants, right? 100% clean, right? Unless it has plenty of room, and sometimes these things are monstrous and they have chairs, but what must they leave at all times? Open, clear path. All right, overall, the fire escape system has no storage of flammables, meaning propane tanks, lawnmowers, motorcycles underneath the fire escape with full gas tanks. Why? Obvious. The next question now, the fire escape is made up of what? Steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, wood, mixed, other, cement? You gotta write it down here. He wants to know what this thing is made of. Some of them are mixed. 23, the fire escape system is maintained, painted, and sealed. This is the must be kept painted rule. And you say here, yes, it has been kept painted, or no, it has not been kept painted. Got it? The next question is, the owner's been notified of the EPA 2010 that this thing has lead. It's older than 78, presumed to have lead. I don't have to test for lead, it's presumed to have lead. That's what the law says. Okay? And number 25. You know what number 25 is? That's the Portlandia 25. You can make up any rules you want on number 25. Put in things in here that only Portlandia has, such as unicorns and purple dinosaurs.
200-pound load test.
200-pound load, well, actually that's coming later. So guys, this 25 is a catch-all. Awnings that don't have passage, just any crazy thing that somebody put in a pole or a dance pole, or put a rock underneath the fire escape, any crazy thing is where 25. That's number 25. Write it in because you want to say that other than being a standard fire escape, we found, I got one that's over a beach, guys. You land in the water. I got a fire escape that the final piece is the ocean.
That's Malibu.
No, that's actually Boston, but it's close. Guys, so steps to certification. Let me ask you if this is correct. Prepare and report by design professional is acceptable, because this is a pass fail, this is not acceptable. Permit by licensed vendor with EPA license, is that all right? Progress, final inspection by design professional or other, is that all right? Submit a final certification by load test, other evidence of strength, or an opinion affidavit with disclaimer. You choose. Repeat every 5 years. Did I break any law here? Okay, so going to the other side, I think these got punched in the order. See the one that says guidelines and procedures? And it has all the codes in there, including the NFPA, the IFC, the technical report, frequently asked questions. You see that? This belongs to the authority having jurisdiction. And I asked Portlandia, I says, hey, we're going to test this the way rational and normal people do. And I was wondering if here at Portlandia you have any other crazy ways of doing this thing. And you would say, number one, I want a load test if you're not using other evidence of strength. I want 200 pounds per square foot because it's not standard. I would write, I want you to use stainless steel bolts. I want you to use a special paint. I want you to or not to weld. Whatever comes in, I have to write it here. This goes to the owner. That says, I have spoken with the authority having jurisdiction. This is what he wants. Because there may be other things specific to that building that are above and beyond the standard repair and or load test requirement. That means I've communicated with the guy that's going to accept my document. He knows this is coming. Because now again, this forces me back to speak with who? The authority having jurisdiction, which could be him at the beginning, but it could be the building department in the middle. All these are all the codes known to exist related to the fire escape. All the interpretations are there. Frequently asked questions. What is an inspection? What is a load test? What is other evidence of strength? It's all written there, including the technical documentation. Okay? The next one. Please, I just need you to give me an official document from Portland that says this is what the fire prevention wants, and it's all just spelled out. And it says, here's our local code, backed up by the state code, and then it has all his information down at the bottom in case you have a question. And they will yell at me when I start saying 50 grand. And when you get that phone call down here, you know what you say? Have you spoken with Stu?
Oh, I do.
That's how you get around. And don't give the general number, give him the cell number so they can text him.
Here's his home phone number.
Here's his home phone number.
After 9 at night.
And we have this skywriting plane that just rides above his house in case he's ignoring you. Guys, there's one more. I think this got stamped in stapled. It's page number 6. The final rat trap. Everybody, please go to the vendor document sheet. And again, it's all the same address at the top. It has all the information, original design and site information date. Top of the thing, it says the vendor who's going to bid this job. What do I need from him? I need all his name, address, and phone number, license numbers, expiration dates, insurances, workers' comp liability, renovator license numbers. I need, in order for you to bid this properly, and this is for the client, because they're going to get 3 to 5 other bids, witch doctors do not need to apply. Got it? The next question says, give me 3 references in the past 3 months, not the past 3 years, of work you've done, so that that owner can go look at a nice job. He has no say on this. Do you have any say on this, who they pick? But if they send you a witch doctor, you're going to allow a witch doctor?
Not likely.
If a structural engineer or a registered architect looks at this document and they're sending him a witch doctor to do the job, is he going to sign off on that guy? So this is, again, another mouse trap for rats, not for cats. Okay, so now, once they've done the top part, and this is an express proposal. This is not a real proposal, this is an express proposal. It says the authority having jurisdiction and the design professional and the owner all want the following. They want a business license. They want a construction license, because some of these guys have business license, but they don't have a construction license in this field. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got a business license. What do you call yourself? Oh, best fire escape company in the world. Oh, that's great. Do you have a construction license? What's that? I have a license. It's my license. It's called best fire escape company in the world. Yeah, but your construction license, do you have, are you construction, metal, ornamental, welding, steel structures, I-beams, do you have that license? What's that? Exactly. So, EPA renovator's license, right? Workman's compensation, liability, because not only going to list the owner as an additional insured, the engineer wants the same to be listed as an additional insured. All permits if required, because some work is so minor there is no permits coming, right? Hey, ready?
Not more land yet.
All right,
Sorry.
let's all step outside the world. Ready? In anywhere else in the world, right?